My name is Alix, and I'm a member of the Wywiga Fremont FCCLA chapter. Today, I'll be presenting my Sustainability Challenge project, Pesky Pesticides. In our community, agriculture is very important to the economy. Many farmers live around the town, so I knew that this was some type of chemical substance that lots of people were coming into contact with. In my initial research, I found that over 20,000 people a year were admitted to hospitals due to suspected pesticide poisoning, and children were among some of the higher risk people. For example, if my mother and my younger sister both took a bite out of an apple that had the same amount of pesticide residue on the outside, my sister would be more affected because she has a lower body mass but is getting the same amount of chemicals in her body. And I also found that in some countries, pesticides are more likely to kill people than infectious diseases. This raises a lot of questions, such as, what is pesticides? Pesticides are a substance used for destroying insects, fungi, or other plants. There are three main types, including herbicide, fungicide, and insecticide. At this point in time, the United States has some restrictions on some aspects of pesticides, including how close to running water you can be, or what types of pests you can kill in order to not kill off the good insects. I also wanted to look at how the World Health Organization felt about this topic. I thought that they were a good example of a professional organization that could comment on it. And when I looked at their opinion of it, they found that pesticides are very, very important to our society. Without them, our crops and agriculture would be greatly affected. But they did say that there's lots of risks that they are hoping to address and work on towards the future. So what can they do to people? So there's three main ways that people can come in contact with pesticides. They can either get it through their mouth, they can breathe it in, or can get on their skin. These are breathing it in is most likely when it's downwind, so people that are in the general environment but not on it. When it comes into the mouth is when people are eating things, and then it gets in their mouth that way. And when it gets on the skin is most likely the farmers that are spraying these pesticides. So there's two different types of reactions, or three different types, my apologies. There's acute, which is where you're getting a lot of pesticides in a little amount of time. There's chronic, where you're having little bits of exposure over a long period of time. And then there's allergic, where you experience the pesticide right away, and within 24 hours you have a reaction. So some effects of an acute: you can get a headache, you can get tingling in your muscles, nausea, and difficulty breathing. And chronic, so when you're experiencing chronic pesticide poisoning, what happens is the pesticide chemicals get stuck in the fat in your body, and they build up over time until it becomes a massive problem. It also affects, as you can see, this was an example of before and after washing grapes. So you see on the outside, this is oxalic acid. It's not actually pesticides, but I thought that this grape picture showed a good definition of what can really change after washing your grapes, even just with running water. So there are also many environmental aspects as well, including how it can kill vegetation, they can create animal mutations, as well as spreading in the air, and it can create things such as acid rain. So my project that I did was I created a PowerPoint and an activity, and I went down to different grades and presented this project. So these are slides for my presentation. I really wanted to get my main points across. What's a pesticide? What is it doing to people? What's it doing to the environment? And what can these young kids do right away to help protect themselves? So you can see that I also wanted to introduce them to the World Health Organization, as well as what the effects on the environment were, and then trying to bring it down to make them understand that they are some of the most at-risk people. And then I played my song. So I had written a song for this originally, and I will play that for you now. Just a couple seconds. Pesky it from the song that I wrote that I presented to the younger classes. And also before that, I taught the kids the different areas that people have tried washing their vegetables. So some people choose to just rinse it under the water, which is okay, but I mean, it's not super great. But the most efficient way is to run it under water with baking soda and letting it sit, and then washing the vegetables off after that. So what we did was an activity where the kids all got apples, and they all put them in we had a big barrel, and then we put baking soda in it, moved it around, and then the kids were able to wash the apples off and eat them, and then we listened to the song. So the overall relationship to the environment is very low. This is costing just the running water as well as the baking soda, which most people already have in their homes. So the evaluation of the project, one thing that I thought was really important was to look at how each of the different age groups that I was presenting to reacted. So I started with my 7th graders, and I realized that they were kind of not very interested, so I kept having to ask more questions to help keep them engaged throughout. And then so I went to my 3rd graders. I also had some more questions about the lyrics of the song. So I made sure to do that. And then finally, when I got to high school, I went through and I explained everything to them, and I kept them engaged with questions, and I had them understand the lyrics. And I feel that this was most important since they were people in my own age group, that it was really important for them to understand all the aspects of it. So here are some pictures from each of the age groups that I presented to. I presented to a 3rd grade classroom, a 7th grade classroom, and a high school science issues class. So you can see all of the pictures here. So in the beginning, I asked all of them a set of questions, and then I kept track of how many different people answered or knew the answer to them. And you can see the answers varied for all of the classes. And this is the page where I did a before and after. And you can see that before my presentation and after my presentation, there is a significant difference in the answers that the students were able to give back to me. So I thought that that really showed what the students were able to know. And I feel like this relates greatly to family consumer sciences, because a poor consumer would look at it and say it's just time to get rid of pesticides because they're not doing anything good. But by being a smart consumer, you understand what it really does for our families. And this is my works cited. Thank you.